Welcome back to India and the unexpected second civil war of India between the Indian People's Republic and India itself. The Indian People's Republic, when it was united just a few days ago, had a support for the Communist Party of 99.75%. And yet the events, or rather the national focus, since we had completed the civil war beforehand, started a new revolution. And it says here, the communist supporter starts a civil war for freedom. The size depends on party support and autonomy progress. Since we were free, and we had 99.75% of the population, you would assume that, what the Indian People's Republic, when the civil war starts between the Indian People's Republic, which was the state at the time, and the Indian nationalists or loyalists that had already been suppressed previously, that they would get most of the army. No. Most of the army was dissolved, in fact, and we only get 2 units. Seems reasonable. We also get half the country, which also seems incredibly reasonable. So yeah, I'm not too sure at all for what the hell, how this can happen. There should be some sort of clause in the focus is, if already communist, you will only get, some kind of bonus, some political power perhaps, or something else. This shouldn't really happen, but it has happened, so we will have to deal with it. We will still use Kodandera Madappa Karyappa. Karyappa, yep, exactly. He will lead our 2 units to glorious warfare. We didn't even get to keep the Gurkha unit, which was veteran and everything, so I'm very salty about that. But we will try to do our best with a bad situation. So we will cross into what is hostile India now and try to retake some areas. If we're lucky, the AI will do the same thing they did last war and dissolve their units, and that's exactly what it did. I can't explain why that would happen. I can not at all explain why the hell they would dissolve their army immediately. They did the same thing last time, which would have been an exciting war, just dissolve their entire force, and this civil war is completely pointless. All it did is, make sure that it takes longer for us. It takes far longer for us to get up to speed. Because now we lost all of our army again, we have to rebuild it from scratch. We will only have these 2 Indian divisions left, and we had like 12, and we had just started rebuilding since we had lost everything previously. And that's just very frustrating. Incredibly frustrating. I'm sure you can understand why it's frustrating. Because we are already, with this massive nation, we were already behind at September 1939 to in any way be able to stand up to Japan or anything like that. Japan is closing in on our borders through China. China will probably give up fairly soon and become reorganized nationalist China. And things are not looking good at all. We won't be able to really take out Afghanistan itself. Like, Afghanistan is far stronger than we are at the moment. There's no way we could actually win. So yeah, not a big fan. Not a big fan of that. I would call it bug, but it's more like, sure, I should have read the title, but I assumed, and I thought it was a fairly reasonable assumption that since we're already communist, they would have some sort of way of detecting that and make sure that the second civil war, which would be outrageous at this point, and at least to this scale, wouldn't occur. But I've heard of some other unfortunate bugs when it comes to various doing things a bit outside of the focus tree. There's something with Australia, I'm sure also. That was, I think it's Demand New Zealand, wherever that is. Can I find it, I wonder? Maybe it's way over here. See, we already won. I think it's somewhere here. Demand Protect the Southwest, support in Demand New Zealand. It will be, this focus will cancel, Australia leaves allies. And I'm pretty sure that someone wrote that if they do that, they have made their own faction at a different point, they will actually leave that faction that they have made. So, yeah, there's issues. And we got 1 more division now. We have 3 divisions. Glorious. At least the allies did not join in on India's side, because then we would have had to fight, both the British and the French would probably land troops in our borders, and everything would be horrible and nasty. So yeah. Now let's rebuild our forces. At least we got all our factories back, and trying to produce as much munitions and arms as possible. And we will try to add in as many divisions as we can here. Hopefully it will be going fairly well. They have not enough infantry. Everyone will get the manpower needed. Manpower is not an issue at all. Not an issue at all. So yeah, and since I'm recording in bulk, if you voted for releasing Pakistan, I will do that, but probably not in this episode since the previous episode has not gone up yet at this point. So I will do it as soon as I do the other batch of recording, next batch. But still, no building in Pakistani areas, because I don't want to get rid of progress. I don't want to spend progress or time making progress in areas where I will have to give up. We can focus on the areas that we will have instead. For sure have. Our natural unity is down the drain still the marginalized Muslim community. So yeah, releasing Pakistan seems very, very reasonable, all things considered. And we have a wonderful 100% popularity of the Communist Party. I'm almost sure that that's more than whatever Soviet Union has. No, Soviet Union has 100%. Germany, however, does not have 100% fascist. And neither do these... Let's see, is there any other communist nation on Earth? There's very few of them. Xinjiang, communist. They're 100% too. Maybe it's the communist ability to bring everyone together. Perhaps that's what it is. We are 0.22 years behind on that one. Perhaps we should start researching Spitfire. No, we have done that too. We are doing this as well. Perhaps already researching the next level of artillery for when it happens. So should we go on infantry offensive or mechanized offensive? Definitely infantry. We won't be able to get very mechanized at any point soon. Let's see, we have the Indian defense research here. If we went for this one and then this one, we will have another research slot. But we will need to be at war for that. So we could do that fairly soon. We can modify our government again, but I don't know what to modify. I honestly don't know. Here we have 8 military factories. We need more. Many more. Soon enough, I think we will have to fall back on unlimited exports. I think we're going to have to use a bunch of steel. Currently we are in a surplus, and so with oil, but as things become more used and required for our nation, so I think keeping the ability to go for limited exports whenever we want, that could be fairly good. There are faction members justifying war goals. Oh, Estonia. That should be fairly easy for them to deal with. The Soviet Union has a massive army. We could bait them into war. We could declare war on... We could not, actually. Yeah, they have a non-aggression pact with your faction leader. So we can't attack them. We can we can justify against Italy. And that would be the same thing. Circumvent them. That should be... that shouldn't be allowed either. They're part of the Axis, so it should be the same thing. That, our different faction leaders have a non-aggression pact between them. Preventing that, but apparently not. Let's see where they break through, and they've taken Luxembourg. They're probably going to walk through Wallonia into Champagne and Pas-de-Calais, into Paris, and so forth. I really do want to take Pondicherry. It's my favorite place. I always, for some reason, love that name, Pondicherry. We have 173. And we're done with Rani of Jans, a free-skilled general named Lakshmi Sagal. That is pretty cool. I wonder if it's good. Jan of Janis. Wait, was it? Rani of Jans. There we go. Rebuilding the nation, which will give us one in Kashmir, Mandalay, and Madurai. Oh, that's good. There's more factories, and for free. Almost for free. More infantry equipment. We're now producing 32 a day, so that should make short work of our deficit. It will be 114 days until it's fulfilled. And this one is over a year away. Factory repair speed could be fairly decent. We could also... What could we use? What could we possibly use? Perhaps we could get some destroyers. Perhaps that's the thing. And... Ah, 3 at the same time. So now we almost have 1 more division. We could have... Oh, we actually have 4. 4 divisions! Indian People's Republic. Which is a wonderful thing. We could do this as well. Add support artillery already. Because that would force us to add sword artillery and start making them. We can make them in small quantities, but you know, ramp up that production already. So we have that when we actually want to add more artillery. This would also make our units more effective. And that's always nice. That's always nice. I think we should really focus on the infantry equipment. Should it become a war already, we could just remove that one from our division and deal with it later on. That's fine. We have no subjects we could recruit colonial templates from. Really? Colonial templates? That's one thing I didn't know existed. So that's pretty cool. I'm a big fan. The Chinese are... There's no way they can win. Even with Soviet support. There's no way at all. The Japanese are a bit too effective. Or rather, the Japanese are a bit too ineffective. And now we're even further away from being able to send volunteers than we were before. Hopefully there's no other, you know, third civil war that will occur. Because that would just be painful. But I think we will speed up our time because we are still biding our time, making larger and larger armies. Now we have 5 divisions. So we're making progress, definitely. And since we're probably going to fight a lot in mountains fairly soon, I think we're going to have to make Gurkhas as well. So perhaps we will do that. Rani of... What? Right, that's not what I wanted. What's special about these ones? What's special with this division? They use training time. Shorter training time apparently, but that could also be that they're lacking a specific kind of unit. Sikh regiment. Training time 90. 90 kilometers, everything seems to be the same. Division, hard attack, soft attack. Everything seems to be the same between these two. So I don't know why I got the second one, but we will make some Gorkha rifles. Gorkha rifles and replace production already to a higher level. There we are. And improved artillery as well. So now we have some Gorkhas being made. We have some more divisions being made, the regular ones. Eventually we could, you know, on the spot, since they're mostly the same, just transfer them over to become mountaineers, which would be pretty nice. We should also do something with the Gorkha rifles. Oh, Japan joined Axis. Since they are currently using 18 combat width, we could add 1 more mountaineer, and it wouldn't make too much of a difference. It would be a bit more manpower, a bit longer training time, and some more infantry equipment that would be used, but it wouldn't be too much of a difference. We now have... Oh, we got rebuilding the nation. Let's go for shared research with the Soviets. That could definitely be useful. There we are. Everything here is looking wonderful. It will take over 200 days to make all of these artillery units. But as production ramps up, it should take shorter and shorter time. What was I going to look at? I was going to look at... Oh wait, it's not here. It's... Wait, there's some button I'm missing. I would get up some sort of... Oh no, maybe that's in the war. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Settings for the British Indian Theatre. That's nice enough. Maybe it's over... I want to see, like, there was a way to see all the men you had available in your army deployed at the moment. But I can't remember what to press to get that. It was some cool button. I just learned of it. Oh well, I can't find it. Doesn't matter. We have X amount of men in the field. Maybe it's over here. Oh, here it is. Equipment details. We have 55,000 men in the field. And we have almost all the equipment we need. We just need some more artillery and we should be done. And now we are making more improved artillery. Everything here is going just excellent. We can even make more military factories. We can make quite a few of them, in fact. We will. Over here and over here, covering wherever we need to be. And since we're not focusing at all on our convoys, and we're not barely having any convoys at all, we should be fine. Speaking of which, we should probably make a few more naval dockyards in certain areas, like here and here, two each, and then maybe one over here. That will fall to Pakistan if we ever go for it, but we should be fine. Is there any other place where we're not building anything? Well, over here, but those are Pakistani areas. So we're giving up maybe 10, 12. We're giving up pretty much 12 factory slots if we give up Pakistan. But that is in exchange for plus 20% more manpower, effective manpower. And that's nothing to sneeze at. That's quite a bit. Definitely quite a bit. Alright, time speed up. We're already in 1940. We still need far more divisions that we already have. Far more. That should be fine. We're getting a factory every... what is it? Every month or so? Every second month? Pretty much. So that's also pretty nice. The Chinese are still holding out. And so are the Western Allies. In fact, except for in Italy. They've lost the desert, but other than that, Italy is holding out even in the colonies, colonial areas. You know, I was for the longest time thinking of playing South Africa. South Africa gets, let's see here, they went for the support the policy of appeasement rather than abandon Westminster. But they get the ability to, like here, history of segregation they get rid of. They also have secure interest in Africa. That will give them almost all, like everything south of Sudan that the United Kingdom has here, they would get. Kenya and whatnot, which would be a pretty big boom for them in population. Other than that, they have, you know, this one, minus 55% recruitable population factor, which is pretty huge for a nation that doesn't have too many people in them. Factory output minus 10% over here. And then they have gotten some things from the various focus trees. I mean, I don't really think I will make many destroyers, so that was a waste of time. Instead, I think going for improved recon... No, actually, let's go for this one. Let's improve our army as much as possible. Combined Arms Academy will give us some nice research bonus as well. There we are, and there we are. Actually, now we are running out of resources. So now we will change our to limited exports. And that should solve it, at least for the moment. We're gonna have to import one way or another fairly soon, so it's just something we cannot get away from. Since we might be able to, or might have to fight the Japanese tanks, we should get some anti-tank very soon. And our army is increasing rapidly now, and I'm a big fan of it. We still haven't gotten any Gorkhas, but that will be gotten fairly soon. We soon have another division here ready. Other than that, we just have to wait for them to be ready with more men. That should be fine. The Soviets are attacking Finland soon, having already gotten most of the Baltic states. And apparently they have landed. This is a very weird spot for them to land. And I'll try to, like in historic times, this doesn't make sense at all. Like if they had attacked here near Hamburg, at least then they would have a fairly straight supply line. Now they have to go through all of Denmark and the Sound and everything like that. And the Sound, for example, if you send out bombers here, you could bomb or mine the Sound fairly easily. if they had launched a naval invasion here. And Sweden and Denmark would try to stay neutral as far as possible. Denmark didn't have much luck with it. They had no choice but to get involved due to, being attacked. But Sweden would try to stay out of the war as much as possible, so you wouldn't really get any support from either of these two countries. So yeah, it's a very strange invasion that they are pulling off. Atlantic Fleet designer, this doesn't really matter, does it? Ship designer, naval research time, sure. We could always change it later, we're almost having too much political power. We could also change out this guy to something else. Popular figurehead, for example. Sir Mohammed Iqbal could also be good. Same ideology, monthly opinion. Improve relations could also be good. We could go for a fascist demagogue. We could have both, one of each side. Let's see here. One of these or one of these. We're almost catching up in artillery already. I'm a big fan of that. So we're not actually having a deficit at all. We can even create a nice surplus of guns or cannons. And then we can transfer over some production to... Actually, we already should do that. Transfer over some production to infantry equipment. And make more of them. Treaty of Craiova. What did that involve? Treaty of Craiova. I should have read that rather than react in hindsight. Now we have 11 divisions. 11 is far from enough to fight Japanese, but perhaps it will be enough anyway. And here we have Lakshmi Sagal, a woman apparently. Well, this almost looks like a woman. Nothing wrong with that. They can join the army as well. We actually need more generals of every kind. As long as they're good and competent, I don't care what they are. Chongqing, is it? Will fall fairly soon. This is almost too sad to watch. The Chinese has only 65% base national unity, and they have lost most of that, I would assume. We now have the Combined Arms Academy, so that is pretty nice. We should probably go for stuff like this down here, so we can go for modernizing army and go for Indian defense research, which would be very good as well. And we don't have anything else to make. Perhaps we should start making some support equipment. And I know we don't have a template for it, but we will in the future. So we can start making some, so we have a surplus for when we make a switch, when we add, for example, support equipment or a recon or whatever. So when we have that, we are ready with some material. And that's not too bad of an idea, considering we will probably go into conflict with Japan fairly soon. I wonder if Japan has invaded Australia or anything. Is Australia in the war yet? They are. And they're at war with... Oh, they actually have been invaded over here in Papua. Papua New Guinea. Leh. So that's not very good. We can continue down our path. Armored operations, not the most useful for us, I assume. Yeah, mostly for tanks. So that one will be a waste. These ones will not. What would also be pretty nice to have would be to have this one that improves the mountain infantry. Considering our Gurkha rifles were really like that. Now we have 14 with 3 Gurkha rifles. Things are looking up. Soviet Union claims Bessarabia. That's sweet, I guess. And Romania turned fascist as per usual. And soon we have closed the deficit when it comes to infantry equipment production, which is also very nice. So that's good. Make some more support equipment, and we probably have to import some aluminum or aluminium. I mean, there's no real way of saying that, right? The Brits will be mad one way or the Americans will be mad the other way. I'm almost proposing that we instead change the name from aluminum to aluminum. You know, add I don't know what the hell am I saying. Aluminum. There we go. That's the proper way of saying it. And everyone will have to agree. It's a mouthful, or it's difficult to pronounce, but that's kind of the purpose of it. Make sure that no one gets it right. Okay, Siam. They will join the enemy sooner or later. We could claim it and then release them as their own nation. And it's a bit too late now. They have already joined the Axis. Just when I was looking at them, they joined the Axis. God damn it. A bit too late we were. Afghanistan. We could try our hand at Afghanistan. Definitely could do that. And perhaps that is what we will do. We will try to attack Afghanistan. Meanwhile, we will improve everything that is to do with the army. And we will order Kodandera Madapa Karyapa to post his army around Afghanistan. And what's even more wonderful is that we now can be inside the communists, because both Xinjiang and we have a continuous border here with Soviet Union. P. Krishna Pillai questions the motives of Afghanistan. And he does it properly as well. Oh, this was one thing we should have done before. There's nothing bad with taking any of these. It's just positives. So you really should add something bad with that. So we can go for war economy. Should have done that long ago. Fewer consumer goods factories, better construction. Everything good for us. And these divisions can join and add to the main border or main war. We can order him to have a plan of basically taking Afghanistan. Can we do it properly? I wonder. There we are. That should be fairly easily done. And then we can make Afghanistan our puppet. It will be wonderful. In fact, now we can also start to make some towed anti-tank. And I know the anti-tank is not what we have in any of our templates yet, but we will have it soon. We will add it. In fact, we could add it already. The only problem here is that we don't have enough army experience for it. Hopefully we will get more of it. Anyway, here is where we will take a cut. I hope you've enjoyed this episode as well. The rebuilding of the Indian People's Republic. Since we had to really do it from scratch this time again. Hopefully there won't be any more civil wars between India and we can now focus on our foreign policy. So, in the next episode we will do just that. In the next episode we will declare war on Afghanistan and then continue on probably with Iran and, spread communism all around the place. Hopefully it'll be great fun. See you next time.